back. Stay with us. Your calls coming up, I promise.
Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
From the water table to our soils to the atmosphere itself, our world is becoming more and more toxic each and every day. But it's not just the air outside that's toxic. Indoor air has been shown to have 2 to 5 times higher concentrations of pollutants than even outdoor air. And most Americans spend 90% of their time inside using toxic chemicals within their homes. There are more than 42 million smokers in the United States. Well over 1,000 types of mold and mildew linked to numerous conditions. And don't forget the fact that 6 million Americans live with pets they're allergic to as well. When I began to research these statistics, it was clear to me it was time to start cleansing my lungs in order to combat the toxic environment that we cannot escape, but that we can fight back against. Made with organic and wild cultivated herbs and manufactured in the USA, the new InfoWars Life Lung Cleanse is here in a convenient spray bottle that can be brought with you throughout any toxic environment. Now available exclusively at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139. I began to get into iodine a few years ago because it was helping me and my family so much get healthy and detoxify. Most people know that iodine deficiency has been a crisis around the world. Iodine is key to so many of the body's functions, especially the thyroid. I discovered a product being developed by Dr. Group. You now know it as Survival Shield, true nascent iodine that your body can really absorb. Then, about a year ago, he said, listen, if you think this is powerful, I'm going to come out with rare earth, deep earth crystals. And the results that I personally have had have been life-changing. Nobody else has got iodine based on these pure crystals, ladies and gentlemen. This is innovating, and the best part is it helps fund Infowars.com, the radio show, the TV show, the whole media operation promoting true libertarian ideas. For a limited time, experience the ancient power of Survival Shield X2. Take advantage of this unprecedented 30% off super detox special at InfoWarsLife.com.
General, what do you think about the FBI saying that there's a terror alert on Monday about a potential Fort Hood situation?
The police are shoving people, shoving Alex, shoving the crowd.
Here we go, folks. I'm being assaulted.
Whether it's the radio show, the news websites, documentary films, or the nightly news, InfoWars is the tip of the spear.
Is this another false flag stage attack to take our civil liberties and put more homeland security while sticking the hands down on the pants on the streets?
It's up to us to set brush fires in the minds of men and women everywhere. And that's what PrisonPlanet.tv is designed to do.
You watch, the Assad regime is going to be blamed or accused of using chemical weapons against the so-called rebels.
What we see now is a war against reality. It's a war against the truth.
It's more vital than ever that supporters of freedom become members of PrisonPlanet.tv and share their membership with up to 11 friends and family. Visit InfoWarsNews.com today. Become a member, share your membership, and help take the InfoWar to the next level.
They took my saddle in Houston, broke my leg in the Santa Fe, lost my wife and a girlfriend somewhere along the way.
In defense of human liberty, Alex Jones.
I'll be looking for 8 when they pull that gate, and I hope that judge ain't blind.
Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Central. We're back. Sundays, 4 to 6 p.m. Central, live with the Sunday broadcast, weeknights, 7 o'clock Central, InfoWars Nightly News. Coming up, I want to look at existential envy, a psychological term developed by Max Schiller. We're also going to look at Governor Jerry Brown announces collapse of California and ultimately the U.S. That's really what he's doing. Pew survey, 1/3 of Mexicans want to move to America and get all the free stuff, which is their entitlement. They're entitled to that, according to Obama and the Democrats. 60% disapprove of their president. Let approve of their president, Obama. Coming up, we're going to get into the Department of Transportation proposes officially mandating cars, broadcast location, direction and speed, and, of course, taxing you by the mile. We're going to get into China to replace Google and Microsoft with homegrown OS, their own operating system. What do you think Google and Microsoft are? They're basically NSA operating systems. So China knows what it's doing, replacing one global tyranny with their own global tyranny. We also have another report here. Forget peak oil and peak credit. We are on the downslope of peak intelligence, and major studies show that. We're going to be breaking some of that down. And the social engineers have come out. The radical plan to phase out Earth's predatory species, not just domesticate humans to be docile for the super predator class, the globalist, but to make animals to where they can't be predators, like cheetahs and wolves, and then I guess watch them all starve to death, because I guess inherently predatory activity is evil. No, it's any predatory activity not carried out by the New World Order is evil. I guess when a gazelle eats grass, it's being predatory. So the only way to stop that is to kill all life on Earth. You know, if you want to get an Alex Jones quote, here's one that hit me the other day. And it's this: life gave birth to death. God gave birth to life. And life gave birth to death. Because there is no death if there's not life. Life is the full continuum, the full spectrum. And then death is only an aspect of life. You could say that life is the universe experiencing consciousness through a physical, third-dimensional manifestation. But I know this: the New World Order and their jumbo jets and their red carpets and Hollywood stars is not the end-all, be-all of this world. And unfortunately, most people never get to figure that out because they never attain entrance or entree into that. And so they're always imagining it as the fabled grass that is greener on the other side of the valley. And so they feel unfulfilled. And that is the essence of globalist programming. The essence of their conditioning and their manipulation. And I will cover it in the third hour today. But now, without further ado, I'm going to go to your calls, and then I'm going to move the next person, and then as you hear callers hang up, that's your chance to call in. I'd love to hear from you. First-time callers, 800-259-9231. Let's go to a caller in Florida first. Let's go to Glenn. Glenn, you're on the air worldwide.
Alex, first-time caller, long-time listener. I want to bring to your attention, I'm sure you've seen the things on the currency, the 10, the 50, and the $100 bill. All three of them have some kind of false flag on them. This has been pointed out by a man named Jonathan Kleck. I highly encourage people to check out his videos. On the 10, it appears that there's a tsunami hitting a coastal city. I believe this to be Miami. It's something you can research. There's something called Miami is the last point in the pentagram that you can check out on YouTube. Number 2 is the 50, which appears to be Hoover Dam being hit. And the other one is the 100, the new 100, which has a picture of New York City, it appears, being hit by a tsunami. Now, with all three, one of the things that I don't know if you've ever thought about, the idea that the enemy likes to broadcast what they're about to do. And in turn, they can, it's like a firefighter setting a fire. They set the fire, come in and look like the hero. What if all three of these false flags were thwarted somehow? And this was an attempt to get us to go along with the New World Order, go along with all the security measures that we have in place, and make perhaps the president look like the hero.
Well, listen, I appreciate your call. That's pretty esoteric for the first call out of the gate. So let me just briefly, for new listeners, basically break down what you're talking about. I know that the global elites are into numerology. They are obsessed with hiding what they're going to do in plain view. If you look at some of the new money that came out right before 9/11, it looks just like the World Trade Center towers falling. If you look at some of the new money that's come out, it looks just like Hoover Dam. It looks like tsunamis. It looks like the Pentagon being hit. It is extremely scary. And then you realize that the old money that we had since 1913 or so had all sorts of hidden images and keys and owls and skeletons and pentagrams, and that a lot of the engravers, the globalists believe money has power because it passes between hands. It's a symbol of their power. And for really hundreds of years, paper money has had all sorts of secret symbols on it. So undoubtedly there's something to that. But anyone can then look at the new money and try to guess what the next target is. If you want to talk about tsunami bombs, it's been in the London Telegraph, it's been in the London Guardian, it's been in the Washington Post back in the mid-90s, and then again just a few years ago. You can type in U.S. government plans tsunami bombs and develop hydrogen bombs on key fault lines and things that would cause that to happen. Does that mean that most earthquakes are government-made? No. There's always been earthquakes. There's always been volcanoes. There's always been meteorites hitting the earth. And so I just really don't go there a lot because you can't prove it one way or the other. I could do YouTube videos about this, and they get millions of views, and people are really into all this, and I've studied it. I've looked at it. There's some real validity to it. But it's just something I can't prove. What I can prove is that our president, starting this year, ordered the Border Patrol to stand down. Only 17% of the people coming across are youth, under 18. They are pouring in. The border is wide open. And the president is inviting them in, and the governor of California, Jerry Brown, with the Mexican president yesterday, I'm going to play the clip coming up. In fact, cue that up if you can. Said, hey, Mexicans, come on up here. That's crazy. Imagine if the French said, hey, Germans, anybody wants to come here, free welfare. Or imagine if Canada said, Americans, anybody that can come here, you get free welfare. Well, Canada's kind of done that now with anybody that can get there from the third world. So is the U.S., so is Europe, and it's collapsing. And the plan is get enough people in the country, give them driver's license, let them vote, who are totally dependent on the government and what the government wants, and it's checkmate. It's a diabolical plan. It's incredible. I can prove they ship guns into Mexico to blame the Second Amendment. I can prove the IRS is persecuting people. I can prove our government funded al-Qaeda. I can prove that Don Salazar wrote an article about FEMA building emergency domes for during crisis all over the U.S. These are the models of the FEMA camp processing centers that were in the Emergency Centers Establishment Act bill. We should probably add that to it. FEMA building pricey domes for your safety, close quote. This is the government collapsing society, offering the solution more control. What happens? What happens when the dollar gets devalued further? What happens when they've shut off the power plants and moved all the jobs to China, which is already happening? Things are going to get worse and worse. Crime's going to get higher and higher. We're going to beg for a police state. The middle class is. And then it's going to double back, and the police state will then be used on anyone who is not a globalist, fellow traveler, socialist, communist. That's grassroots. The bankers are going to sit in Luxembourg, in Switzerland, in Grand Cayman, in the Cook Islands, laughing at us. The elite of the world are leaving Israel and leaving the United States. They're going to Switzerland. They're going to England. They're going to Scotland. They're going to Monte Carlo. They are going to Luxembourg. And they've all got giant yachts with helicopters and seaplanes on them. And they're ready to live at sea for years. Okay? I mean, quite frankly, I'm not even going to get into it. I'm not going to get into it. But that's the underground base of the future. Is island, highly armored, ultra-rich redoubts, former Greek islands, you name it, that the globalists have been buying for billions and setting up command bases. I mean, this is a war you're in. This is not a game. They're getting ready for the singularity. They're getting ready for the robots to basically displace the general public. They're getting ready for the bioweapons release. And if you're an FBI agent or a cop or a bureaucrat who thinks you're going to be part of the establishment and thinks you're going to make it through all this, you're crazy. Or if you're compartmentalized and think I'm nuts, boy, I wish I was crazy, because I'm not. I'm sharp. I'm on target. I'm on the inside. I've done 22 years of research. I know what I'm talking about. And anybody that doesn't listen to me or anybody that wants to laugh at what I talk about is an idiot. Why did Nero set fire to Rome? Because he liked to watch buildings burn. Why did Hitler do what he did? Same reason. Why did Mao kill 84 million people? Because he wanted to. Why did Ted Bundy grab teenage girls and torture the living daylights out of them? Because he liked it. And all of you out there that are naive and think the establishment's like you and wants to watch ESPN all day, and act cool all day, or